Well, hopefully you guys are ready because we are here in the finals of this week's Sunday Semi-Pro Cup Series. Winner of this will walk away with $100 and be crowned the champion. With me again is going to be my co-caster, Niz. Niz, are you here with us, buddy?
Go. It's
Awesome.
the finals.
Awesome.
It's going to be good.
It is going to be good. And
It's
honestly, the other team, Tengen, a very strong team. Played against them many a times, and with a few of them actually. Lycus, Ryanoob, very strong players, also quite respectable from my interactions with them. And of course, we saw a lot come out of Spaghetti in the last game, now known as Princess Gaming. I'm a little more comfortable saying that name. So the other one was kind of hilarious. But Taku just absolutely taking over on his Mirana and playing out of his mind in a lot of ways. But Tengen is going to be a little bit of a tougher opponent, and that's just how this tournament goes. No matter which side of the bracket you follow, the farther you go into a tournament, the next opponent's always going to be harder than the last. At least that's how it should be. So this should be the best game that we see yet. Honestly, both teams good talent. And that pretty much sums it up for me before like the pre-game hype goes. Is there anything you want to say, Niz, before we get right into this draft and start talking about it?
No, I mean, we got to see Taku have a pretty good performance on the Mirana. He started off really quiet, but he certainly came into his own as the game went on. And yeah, they
10 seconds.
I don't know, they just did a good job. You know, they just showed. You know, you can't surprise us with a Meepo pick. You know, we're gonna deal with it, and we're gonna. You know, they got caught off guard at certain points in the game, but they showed. You know, we're just going to play some solid Dota and we're just going to win the game. And they took advantage of an advantage that they had. And they took Rax 23 minutes into the game. They snowballed off a tier 2 tower push that went well, and it ended up giving them Rax as well. So, you know, look for them to keep making good plays all game long. I've actually...
10 seconds to go.
Well, obviously, a lot of the names in this game are very familiar, but on Tengen Gaming, there's a lot of good players in this team too. So they should be able to put up a pretty good fight against the Spaghetti team.
Well, that's enough hyping up the players and hyping up the teams, as there is two in a finals, not one. Only one walks away the victor, the other one walks away the loser, and that's just the nature of competition. But the draft has been long underway during this. We obviously see the Razor, Faceless Void, getting banned out by Tengen Gaming, Princess Gaming choosing to ban out that Lycan, as well as the Death Prophet. Tengen Gaming fires first with that Doom pick. We did see it actually work out quite well in some of the fights for Hot Hands, but not really working the way they wanted to in Princess Gaming, aka Spaghetti. Again, firing back with the same response so far that they did last game. They did the Viper Wraith King as their response. So we'll see if they do the exact same thing here.
5 seconds.
But yeah, we talked about this a lot last game. For those of you who weren't here, honestly, Viper after Skywrath Mage instead of the Wraith King. An interesting decision here, as we do see the Rasta being the second pick from Tengen Gaming. And honestly, Skywrath Mage is a great hero to deal with Doom because he's low armor, and if you silence him, he can't get his healing up and that bonus movement speed from Scorched Earth. We do see the Wraith King ban. I wouldn't be surprised if Tengen Gaming was watching the last game. Their game was already over, so they could have sat back and watched Spaghetti versus Hot Hands. But already a little bit of a different development. Thoughts so far, Niz? I mean, it's not much of the draft so far, but definitely a little different.
Yeah, it's a little different, but it's still very standard. We haven't seen anything surprising yet. As Tinker's removed from the game, as he's been kind of one of the heroes who's definitely rising in the metagame. We only saw him once tonight, but yeah, he didn't win that game either. So, but yeah, still just pretty standard. I like Skywrath here. I think he can do a lot of work against Doom and Shadow Shaman. But I also like Shadow Shaman. I think he's just an incredible hero. And you know, if you don't deal with him in a team fight, he is just going to control the fight, and he's going to do whatever he can to change that fight into his team's favor. So it's a hero I love to see, and It's a hero I've liked for a really, really long time, and I'm just glad to see him getting picked quite frequently.
Well, the follow-up
5
bans after that
seconds.
are going to be, of course, Wraith King into Brewmaster. Brewmaster, very common we've seen these days. Tinker as well, very
Radiant's
common,
pick.
getting banned out by Spaghetti. And finally, that Earthshaker. And Earthshaker in the hands of a good player is honestly one of... I mean, again, the thing about Dota is I could say every single hero is the strongest hero. That's what makes this game so much fun to play. But Earthshaker is... I kind of think of him a lot like a Sentry in StarCraft 2. The Fisher changes the breakdown or the laydown of the map, which could be very advantageous for you,
seconds to
but can
go.
sometimes also kind of bite you in the ass. Disruptor, another hero I tend to
5
see like that because
seconds.
Kinetic Field, although it's not some you can run through it with BKB, still kind of
Reserve
creates literally a
time.
force field to change the breakdown of the map and how you can actually take fights. But Witch Doctor will be the follow-up, and Witch Doctor Skywrath Mage is a really strong roaming combo because you can easily get the concussive shot off, and then Cask actually has a really long cast range in relation to other support stuns because he obviously kind of lobs the Cask out. It makes more sense that he can throw it farther because, you know, Dota does everything based on making sense. So, Witch Doctor's got the arms, man. He can throw that thing a long way.
10 seconds.
Yeah, and they definitely like playing this
Seconds
Witch
to
Doctor.
go.
They played him last game. Zeb was on him, and I think he did a pretty good
5
job.
Seconds.
You know, he did a good job to not die over and over again to Clinks.
Reserve time.
And when you become the squishy hero on the team, and you're the only target that Clinks can kill, if you're not dying constantly, you're doing something right. You know, you may be right-clicked following around your carry or someone else on your team, but you're not dying, you're not feeding. You know, you're doing something right, I guess.
Yeah.
But he didn't have to do that, and he still didn't die. So yeah, he did a good job there. But yeah, just some good casts, some good Maledics. He was using his heal quite a bit to make sure his team was ready to fight. There was a few kind of almost engagements and kind of disengagements, and he was able to heal them all up to full, and they were ready to go back in again. And yeah, he did a pretty good job on that Witch Doctor. So I'm assuming he'll be playing it again. It's probably one of his go-to heroes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you see a support multiple times, it's rather fair to assume that that player has been either practicing or specializing in that hero.
Radiant.
And we do finally see the Invoker get through. If I'm not mistaken, Spaghetti and then the game before that, No Hands, had banned it out. Granted, there was a Faceless Void, and maybe it was actually No Earth Spirit that banned it out twice. But either way, both games that we have seen the Invoker ban, there was a Faceless Void on the field. But this time there isn't. This time it's Invoker by himself. We have seen him once today. The Invoker unfortunately did not have the best game. Can't recall exactly what game that was. We have been casting for, I don't even want to look, 6 hours and 3 minutes now.
That
so a
was,
decent amount of time.
The
Seconds.
second game we cast tonight.
Second game.
That was between
Reserve time.
No-Eyed Kings
Yes, and
and
Goofy
Legit
and all
Blue.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Le Jeu de Bleu.
I remember there was one Sunstrike that game.
Yeah, that was
up top that picked off Indie Bear on the Jakiro.
Yeah, very important at the time. Well, yeah, we'll see how they follow it up. The nice thing, or not the nice thing, but the problem that I see coming out from the Radiant side right now is they don't have any guaranteed lockdown. Cask is a great stun, but you need targets to bounce off of, which kind of relies on the enemy team being in poor positioning. If you can force positioning errors, then it's fine. But they don't really have too many heroes to really force positioning errors yet. Obviously, Viper and Skywrath provide great zoning and burst, and or I guess burst from the Skywrath and DPS or sustained damage from Viper and Skywrath Mage with his Arcane Bolt. But they need something to lock down, and I guess Mirana is not a bad decision.
Dire.
The arrow can be thrown in from obviously multiple angles, can do a lot no matter how the fight's going down, whether it's at the beginning, towards the middle of the fight, Moonlight Shadow. But again, they don't have a Chronosphere. They don't have a Ravage. They don't have a Black Hole to hold the team in position to let Death Ward do the work. So it's going to be good, and it's going to rely on him being in good position like
10
last game,
seconds
where he was able
go.
to get a lot of Death Wards off towards the end of the fights and really like
5
pound on the
seconds.
Meepo or pound on I want to say the other times it was also the Doom. He kept getting
Reserve
Doom a
time.
lot with Death Ward.
But you know, this is a very similar lineup to what we saw last game. The only difference so far in the draft would have been a Wraith King instead of the Skywrath. And obviously they picked up a Death Prophet as well, which has been banned out by them. But oh, we got Jakiro
Radiance
on the board for Tengen. But
I like Jakiro though, because Jakiro adds a lot of push presence to their lineup. You have the Rasta wards, you have Liquid Fire, you have potentially the double
10
Forge Spirit,
seconds to go.
Alacrity. You can really chunk and just
5
wreck
seconds.
towers one by one if you get the advantage, which they do have a lot of ways to get tempo advantage,
Reserve
right?
time.
They can shackles into Sunstrike, they can blink Hex with Shadow Shaman, and Macro Pyre plus Meteor plus Shockwave
Dyer's
can literally
ban.
wipe a team if it's if it's properly positioned and executed.
absolutely, I think the Radiant team Spaghetti. I think what they really need is something that's going to be able to step up
10
front and really
seconds to
tank,
go.
because they've got some really strong
5
glass
seconds.
cannon kind of hero. Skywrath can throw out a ton of damage. Witch Doctor is great, but also very
Reserve time.
squishy. Mirana, same kind of deal. She can really watch her positioning and do a lot when she can just kind of sit there and auto attack and throw
Radiant's
arrows and
pit.
all that. But Viper's kind of their only hero who can really step up in the fight and maybe take a little bit of damage, but he's not still that tanky. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, what they pick up here, and Tengen obviously is on top of that, and they're getting rid of the Tide, which I think would have been a terrific pick for the Radiant side. But it is doomed. What?
Dyer's
Wow, and that is
Okay.
a very powerful or a very whoa. Okay, both of those picks are definitely what I was about to say, which is kind of a putting your foot out there and saying, all right, guys, we're gonna pick a Shadow Fiend, because Invoker does really well against Shadow Fiend in middle lane, but now Meepo might be middle lane. Rasta can easily roam on a Shadow Fiend continually. That's one thing that Shadow Fiend's biggest weakness is as a hero, is if he gets behind, he stays behind. He's really squishy, 1 base armor, 400 HP, but we'll see how this
I'd be
goes. As the
ready,
picks
I
are
would do.
surprising, but the game will be exciting. On the Radiant side, for Spaghetti, the finals of Semi-Pro Cup Series Sunday edition, we have Viper, the team captain, being picked up by Quirt, the team captain, Zeb, picking up the Skywrath support, Taku, again, playing that Mirana again, excited to see that out of him, stand-in, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, very excited, Shadow Fiend in the middle lane, and finally, that's everyone. That is everyone. Oh, I missed Witch Doctor, didn't? Yeah, I did miss Witch Doctor. He was between the two heroes I introduced. Best Morgana to ever live is, of course, that Witch Doctor, aka hashtag Vodka Gaming.
All right, on the Dire side, we have
13
Tengen
seconds
Gaming,
to battle.
or Tengen Gaming. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but playing the Invoker, we got Squee. Playing the Rasta, we have 2 Nurla. Playing the Doom, we have Madog. And then playing on the Meepo, we've got Lycus, so look for him to do some big plays. Looks like he's going to be in the middle lane. And playing the Jakiro, we have Ryan Noob. And
So-
before we get into this
Battle
game,
starts in 3,
normally we've got Toffees casting the finals here. And so if there's some people that normally are watching Toffees in the finals and you're here, because he's not casting, welcome. But also, I don't know Toffees, but shout out to him, and congrats on little baby Toffees. But yeah, so let's jump into this game. It's the finals, $100 on the line, 2 great teams, and we got to pause.
Yep, which will give me a second to actually ask
Hype
you a
killer.
very important. No, this is not a hype killer. This is a moment of importance, Niz. I want you to look at this bottom lane. Tell me, honest opinion. What do you think? Because you never see this, ever.
I don't think those supports are going to stay there. First of all,
Okay, you think it's offlane Invoker?
which actually has
Has happened,
played.
yes, most definitely.
I think the fact that he's using that top knot is disgusting on the Invoker, but I know that's not what you're asking about. I think Viper's onto this as well, but I don't know. I think those supports are going to get out of there. They're not going to stay there. They're going to be roaming around. But, not getting anything here.
Yeah, just going to throw out a little bit of harass there. Ryanoop just trying to burn him down with that liquid fire, and it actually looks like they are going to maintain some form of an aggressive quasi-tri-lane between the Shadow Shaman, Jakiro, and the Invoker. Will it work? Will it not? We'll have to see. As on the other side, the Radiant running a 2 or a 3-1-1 as well in the aggressive sense. Witch Doctor up in the top lane.
This is interesting. Jakiro's showing himself a lot bottom. He's trying to make the Shadow Fiend feel comfortable mid because he knows where the supports are. So he keeps showing himself bottom, freeing up this RaptorZ transition.
And actually, First Blood was missed in the top lane. I apologize, guys, as the supports. I saw the Witch Doctor rotating this way, and the Skywrath went this way, but it looks like with just a good cask timing next to the creep wave, as well as a good timed concussive shot, they were able to net this kill. Taku did not look like he used any spells, as he has full mana, and had no mana or clarities used in that situation. So overall, great plays, and now they're going to go ahead and smoke up and head towards that middle lane. Excited to see if they can get another kill here. That would put them 2-0 unanswered in this game. And Lycus, the Meepo from last game, one thing we saw was that he kept getting ganked. But now, Lycus might actually be able to completely avoid this gank. He's going to blink away. No, the cast comes out. Does he have the chance? He does. Raze does barely miss as Lycus escapes at 200 HP, and that is actually a level 2 Raze. Would have done 125 damage to him, almost killing him. And that would have been a big deal, because what I just said would have been completely null and void. But Lycus, luckily running over there, and they didn't have the silence yet, he was able to blink away. But now Mad Dog might be in trouble, as he is getting hunted down here. Haste on Witch Doctor. He's not going to choose to throw the cask, just zoning him out of the jungle, preventing him from getting any of that farm. But it looks like he just wants to turn around, as Lycus did rotate over. The cask comes over and bounces into the cap and actually misses on the final 2 bounces, and they get the poof. But now Shadow Fiend rotating in from behind, and he will get that kill on Meepo. That's an important kill. Falling over is the Meepo to the Shadow Fiend, and Shadow Fiend now level 5. Also, Doom able to Doom not really getting or taking too much damage. But while all this is going on, there's 3 heroes just kind of sitting bottom, not doing much for Tengen right now.
Well, what I was trying to point out earlier is Jakiro was continually showing himself in the lane, trying to free up the rotation to make Roster rotate mid and Shadow Fiend feel safe, and it was working. But I didn't know if they had too much kill potential. They were kind of waiting for Meepo to hit to get the second Meepo, and then the positioning of the lane just didn't work out, and it was kind of a whole bunch of wasted time. I saw what they were trying to do, but it unfortunately didn't work out. And
Lycus is going to send his second Meepo bottom during this. I think they're trying to go for a gank here, which is why I cut you off. It might be a successful gank, because they do have 4 heroes in the vicinity. 2v1 TP rotations are not available at the moment, besides the Skywrath Mage. We'll see if this can be pulled off here. Meepo also in the middle lane, so that should make the gank not as obvious. That is one nice thing about Meepo. Although, again, most other Meepos have the Meepo stacking. Supports are going to rotate out of the middle lane, and Tango is going to basically run into them, taking quite a bit of damage. Cask does fly out, hits on Ryanoop and Tunarla twice, allowing him to get that kill. But now neutrals get the kill on Shadow Shaman, and that's a big deal. Lycus is able to poof away, and now Quirt is in a little bit of trouble as the Sunstrike comes along with the nets, and that will be another kill. Lycus, though low HP, trying to run away, will not be able to get away as the Arcane Bolt finishes him off, and now Ryanoop trying to man up against the Witch Doctor, but will fall. And 1-5 as Spaghetti is taking a pretty convincing advantage early on in this game. And top lane, Taku's up 28 CS to the 13 of Doom. And yeah, Doom farms really quickly, even if he gets a Midas, but he's really far behind right now. And speaking of which, he might actually just go down to Mirana. She does still have the leap available to her, but because of the bottle charges, chooses not to go ahead and go for that.
Yeah, we've seen the supports hanging around bottom lane here, and Quirt has been doing a terrific job of positioning himself really well in the lane, but the supports really don't have a chance to ever go on him. They're never in a position where they're really going to be able to open on the Viper, and he's just been positioning himself really, really well. He has fallen behind in CS, but that's to be expected. in this lane because of the amount of pressure that the supports have been trying to put on him. But even there, when there was that kind of engagement in the jungle, Court came up, and yes, he died. He kind of came up and cut them off. He died, but it secured 2 kills for his team. So, you know, willing to sacrifice himself for a kill on Lycus, and it was the Jakiro, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Ryan.
Yes, it was.
So yeah, just really great play from him so far in this game.
Yep. Taku again going to be going straight for that Midas. Instead, not having that Aquila ring this time before he gets it. Looks like the supports maybe trying to go for something. No, it's just Jakiro rotating to the top. We'll start attempting the pulls here as, again, Witch Doctor and Skywrath Mage just doing a good job roaming together and asserting themselves. They're never letting the Dire side sit back and play passively. The supports are always forcing Meepo to move, or forcing Jakiro to move, or forcing Doom out of the lane. It's just continual pressure in each lane that's really netting an advantage for them. And I'm sure if we go to the Golden Experience graph, we'll already start to see this. Actually, what?
So, sorry.
I thought you said it. I thought you were
didn't-
saying a kill was about to happen. I was like, oh!
No, I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
No, it's fine. In middle lane, there might be a kill here. Is actually both of the supports are rotating. Witch Doctor TPing bottom for an interesting decision. I guess it's because the Viper is in a pretty questionable position. Does have the Midnight Shadow to go ahead and escape from this, and will survive. No kills netted in this situation. Oh, actually, never mind. Lycus goes down in the middle lane. Arcane Seal and 2 raises are enough with an Arcane Bolt to finish up that kill. As Shadow Fiend goes up, I believe, 2-0-2.
There's just an interesting little point. Up around the top rune, Meepo was clearing the camp right next to the top rune,
Dire's middle
and
tower is being attacked.
the Radiant supports were willing to... Oh, I should look bottom, never mind.
Yeah, actually, the arrow or Shackles going to hit on onto the Witch Doctor as he turns around onto Squee. Squee taking too much damage from all 3 of them, and Tunala has to get out of there immediately as he does go for the Arcane Boots. Or not Arcane Boots, Tranquil Boots instead of Arcanes, but Taku was pushing that top lane, being a little aggressive, and this might be the death of him as Ice Path does hit. They have the Dual Breath to follow it up, but honestly, with the right clicks, it will be enough. And Mad Dog getting a very important kill for himself and shutting down that Mirana, who is the leader in the CS board currently.
Yeah, we're seeing Tengen actually come back into this game. They got that all-important kill on Taku there. That's only their 2nd kill of the game, but with their first one, of course, being on court earlier. But that was a good trade for them. But the Spaghetti team is doing really good stuff off the start, and I didn't actually notice until now because well, you did the introductions, and apparently I wasn't listening. But Zeb is actually on the Skywrath and not on the Witch Doctor like he was on last game.
So I guess a little bit of specialty there for Zeb as he played. They obviously deem him the better Skywrath player, and obviously you know, the Witch Doctor play is not that bad at all. He's definitely doing a great job. Skywrath Mage maybe doing a little bit more, but that's his job. He is the initiator. He is the one who's supposed to be kind of setting the pace of the game in the laning phase. That's purely the job of the hero in a lot of ways.
Absolutely, is Taku.
Actually, Taku, yeah, might get picked off, but a great leap dodges that liquid fire. Not that it's going to do a lot of damage, but it will do some damage. Level 3 actually is starting to tick for quite a bit, 12 damage a tick, and it does tick a total of 10 times for 120 damage.
Dire's middle tower is under
Interesting
attack.
positionings in the bottom.
Yeah, and maybe Kurti trying to turn around onto the Invoker, who does throw out the Cold Snap as well as the Forward Spirits using the right clicks and the Ice Wall, but he does die to the Viper Strike as well as the right clicks, Poison Sting being enough. So good kills going down over here. And now meanwhile, Shadow Fiend does get the middle lane. Tower does drop his ultimate. Lycus is low and the Mirana rotated over. Might get out is Lycus, but no, he gets arrowed in the last second. However, Lycus is able to clean, or Jakiro is able to clean up with Lycus, the Shadow Fiend. So an important kill on shutting down the Shadow Fiend, but they did sacrifice 2 heroes and a tower to get that kill.
Overall, still a definite trade in the advantage of the Radiant side. I was actually... no, that was good. That was good. I was going to say something else, but I'm wrong.
Okay, well, fair enough, Niz. It's important to admit when we're wrong.
Taco throws an arrow, hits Lycus.
Yeah, in the top lane, I missed that, but Lycus does have his secondary Meepo there, but with the support rotation and the Meepos grouped up in the way they are, that bounce is just going to go back and forth, and there you go. Taku netting up that kill, second Starfall securing it for him. Both of them are running Midases, I think. Taku should be sending his out now if I'm not mistaken. Yep, there's the Midas. So double Midas on the line of Spaghetti. However, on the side of Tengen, it doesn't look like they really have that much online yet at all, as there is no Midases, very little item progression, and actually bottom lane, they might try to get something as they turn around and or dive the Viper under the tower, but he does get under, not taking too much more damage. Zeb, however, should fall to the Forward Spirit, and now Witch Doctor maybe in a questionable position as the Macro Pyre doing a lot of damage to him. Forward Spirit chasing, he's taking a lot of damage, but does activate the salve while running that healing, and will stay alive. Now the chase is turned the other way as Mad Dog is trying to get away. Chased off to the right. Court is going to turn around and pop his ult onto Ryu Noob. The Ice Path comes out after the Hex. Do they have the Shackle follow-up? No. The wards actually blocked himself from running, and now that will turn into a waste of wards. And actually Doom trying to pursue out the Mirana gets turned around on. Now Taku might have an angle to pursue, but no, they're just going to go ahead and take that free kill and back out.
Yeah, Taku on the Mirana was just putting some pressure on the Doom. Doom was kind of backing out, and then he ran right into Shadow Fiend, and actually used the stomp, the war stomp, and hit Shadow Fiend, and I believe he also hit the Mirana and just was trying to run away, but Shadow Fiend wasn't going to let that happen. So the really excited Shadow Fiend player managed to get the kill.
Yep, and that's big for him because now he has access to this Blink Dagger. He has 31 souls, is about to bottle up a regen, or use his regen and bottle up at Invis. And the cool thing about Shadow Fiend ulti is it doesn't reveal you when you start channeling, unlike other ultimates such as Sand King. It actually reveals you when you start doing it. There's a few other channeled ults that do that, obviously like Fiend's Grip and Dismember. But Shadow Fiend is one of those ultis where you can use it while Invis and it will not, show you until it is detonated. But Mirana ult onto Team Spaghetti as they look to get some picture. There was a sentry ward in the middle lane, so they should be completely aware of this, and pings lead me to believe that is the case, and they're going to go ahead and just turn it around into a bottom lane gank as both Shadow Fiend and Viper are pressuring this lane. Double Ray's going to clear up the creep wave as they do smoke up themselves. Tengen, that is, moving forward. Tunarla is going to be the first one. He gets the Hex onto Shadow Fiend, follow up by the Cold Snap and the Shackles. Ice Wall is in a great position. Doom onto Viper. They get the double stomp, but the tower is actually denied by Invoker. Great play, Stand-In getting out with 49 HP into the right side. Triple exclamation mark. Does throw out the Sunstrike, but is going to miss the blink. Now over the Sunstrike will reveal his position, but meanwhile in top lane there's more action as Lycus is about to go down. Trading for the Viper across the map right now, 1 for 1, but Ryu Noob might be 2 for 2 as they do catch him out in the trees, but no. Stuns are able to stop his teleport, so he will get out alive.
Yeah, that was just really good. I was actually, I was going to point out the fact that all that was going down, and obviously it looked like Viper and Shadow Fiend, they were going to lose at least one of them. Viper stood up and said, "You know what? I'm going to get this tower because we're going to lose at least one hero here. Most likely both of us are going to die. I'm going to step up. I'm going to get the tower." He was attacking it. Invoker said, "I'm not taking any of that." Squee just turns around, throws one auto attack, denies the tower, and then they keep going to chase, and they only get the kill on Viper, and Shadow Fiend escapes because of the Mirana ult. But yeah, good play there to heads up play. Think of what you're doing, right? They were smoking and they were going to stop and defend their tower, and they continued to play objectives even though they were in the middle of a team fight. They had their eye
Arrow
on the prize,
onto Lycus in the top lane. Does hit 5 seconds with the Cyrath Mage there, throwing the Mystic Flare. This should be an easy kill. The other Meepos are TPing in, but are killed, obviously, as that other Meepo does die. And there goes another kill in the favor of the Radiant side as they continue 13-5. Sorry about that. Finish your thought.
No, all I was saying is just like, you're going to defend a tower. Even if you get into a team fight, keep in mind you're still fighting over an objective. So you have to keep that objective in mind. So Squee did a good job of doing that, and he turned around, denied the tower when it got low, and kept going, and they ended up getting the kill on Viper as well. Good heads up play.
Yep.
Rhinoob's in an interesting position.
He is actually going to get found out here as Stand-In does run right next to him, and now Ryu Noob should be dead as there is no escape for him. Right clicks are coming out, 2 right clicks, 2 raises, 3 raises, net the kill as Ryu Noob falls in. Now Spaghetti wants to get on the offensive. Poison attack does miss onto Invoker, so he will not be running any slower, but honestly with the push power that they have, the Blink Dagger on Shadow Fiend, the mech on Viper, the arrow from Taku, and the Death Ward, they should easily be able to get these kills in the arrow. Barely missing Squee.
Very close. Very
Ooh,
close.
that could have been really, really important. Squee does have his Midas now. Haven't really talked about items too much lately. Tunarla skipping that Blink Dagger, going straight for the Aghanim's mech. Also on Doom. We see half of the Aghanims on Meepo. And Jakiro just with those phase boots. Nothing more just yet.
Shadow Shaman may actually decide. Tunarla on the Shadow Shaman may actually decide between Arrow Glow.
Arrow. Oh, never mind. That was the Fort Spirit. Sorry.
But he may actually decide to go Blink Dagger now after he got the point booster. He needs something to keep himself alive. There's no way he can go straight Blink Dagger this game. He'll just fall over. There's just too much damage coming out. So he may choose to go Blink Dagger. He may just choose to go the eggs because he doesn't see the value in the Blink Dagger at this point in the game. But that will remain to be seen.
Actually, Cass coming out with the Ancient Seal onto Doom. Mystic Flare off the mark, however. As they continue to push this tower, Sunstrike will come out and be dodged by the Blink. Doom goes on to Viper, so there will be no access to mech for the next 10 seconds of this fight. However, Shadow Fiend blinked himself into the trees and is not going to be able to assist his team with this fight at the moment. However, if the fight moves over to where he is, he's actually in a very good position to get the jump on him. Doesn't look like they're going to take this fight, and Spaghetti will take the free tower and go ahead and just walk out. Take the advantage, move on and farm. As BKB is the next item for Shadow Fiend, generally the progression after Blink, but definitely an important item this game considering they literally have no BKB disables besides Doom.
Another thing, Tengen there, once again, playing the objective. Obviously, for some reason, they didn't want to get into a full-scale fight there, and they were fine with that, but they wanted to still defend their tower. So they pushed up right at the moment where the tower was going down. They used their Fortify. Uh-oh.
Yeah, middle lane. Looks like Doom and Tunarla are going to get caught out as Death Ward and Mystic Flare are thrown down. The cask bouncing very well between those two. And they might try to push a high ground tower here, but that might be a little bit risky. Top tower is already getting sieged by Shadow Fiend. Not much that the Dire side or Tengen is going to be able to do in this situation, so they just go ahead and resign to the fact that they're going to go for a trade. But the trade is going to be stopped because Taku is forcing or threatening high ground push as the tier 3 does take the first damage in the game, dropping down to 1450. But top tower will fall, while bottom tower should actually be saved as the net. Great timing by Lycus stopping that pursuit from the Witch Doctor. Arrow to fling out, however, will it land? No. Threads the needle between the creep wave and Meepo, but now the cast comes out and Meepos are close enough that they'll just continue to bounce between, and Meepos should go down, and it will. Lycus falls. 17-5. The ownage is sounded for Team Spaghetti as they go for 5 unanswered kills in the finals of this Sunday Evening Cup Series, or sorry, Sunday Semi-Pro Cup Series.
You got to feel a little bit for Meepo there when you're desperately running, and unfortunately you have 3 heroes instead of 1, and that cask is just bouncing around, and you're just like, oh my gosh, please.
Yeah, and it's not like you can split one Meepo backwards, because then you're going to die anyways, and if you split them sideways, you're going to die anyways, so you just got to run and hope for the best. Item progressions actually starting to get relatively large for the Radiant side as we switch to the net worth graph. 10k at 20 minutes for Shadow Fiend. Maelstrom on Mirana, BKB on Shadow Fiend, and I believe that was the only other major item pickup besides Witch Doctor being 1,000 away from Aghanims, and Viper sending out his own Yasha, and Taku is going to finish up that MJ as he's 30 gold away from the Hyperstone.
Tengen is grouped up for a push on mid, but Spaghetti's already grouped up for a push on bottom. I'm just getting a trade here. And I talked about before about actually this trading this Radiant tier 1 in the middle lane versus the tier 2 in the top lane on Dire side.
Well, they're just going to go for the GG. They say, you know what, we traded 1 tower, but if you want to keep going, we'll gladly trade you a tier 3 for a T2. Note, Fortify is on cooldown during this fight. We'll see how they handle it. Concussive shot flies out, hitting Invoker. The arrow is obviously hits on the Fort Spirit. Wards go down defensively to help defend this, but Spaghetti taking a free T3 and walking away under cover of that Mirana ult. The nice thing is Lycus does get the trade for that middle tier 2 tower. However, I would trade a tier 2 for a tier 3 any day. Arrow to fly, and it's actually going to miss. Thought it was going to hit there as it does thread the needle between Witch Doctor, or Doom and Jakiro, as now the smoke forward and the 3-man blink hoof stop from Doom. Now the Sky Earth Mage is going to throw down that Mystic Flare. The Death Ward doing so much damage, cleaning up multiple heroes. Doom and the Rasta now Meepo are all down on the sidelines of Tengen Gaming as Spaghetti sets up on the high ground to take the first racks of this game in the finals. Cass going out, bouncing between Jakiro and Squee, and honestly, that's going to be a team wipe as Jakiro buys back. But what is Jakiro going to be able to do? His teammate, the Rasta, buys back as well, but Arrow's going to hit Tunarla as he wasn't watching. That's going to prevent him from helping defend this tower. The blink forward from the Shadow Fiend as he still has access to the ultimate. And now the blink forward, or leap forward, as well as the Starfall from the Mirana. And with the right clicks, that should be enough to clean up the Rasta. Instead, they choose not to dive, which might be the smart decision as melee Rax does fall. Ranged Rax about to fall, 600 HP. And now top lane going to defend is the Viper. And one Rax down. Multiple kills for free, at least with, and not for free in the sense of, you know, they're giving them up. Is Tengen, but Dire's or Radiant's side, Team Spaghetti, just getting all of those kills without any answer from Tengen.
Yeah, there's a few things to quickly note there. They showed, the Spaghetti team showed very good restraint. To, you know, they took the tier 3 tower and then they used the Mirana ult to back up. And, you know, yes, the Rax is exposed, but, you know, a lot of teams would have stuck around and tried to get damage to that Rax. But they chose to back up and show restraint. They didn't want to risk anything. And then they actually, they threw an arrow, and the arrow didn't spot any heroes.
Ooh, so arrow.
They gave us a whole bunch of room.
Spots Roche.
They gave us a whole bunch of room, but actually it was because Tengen was sitting there smoked. That's why they didn't reveal any heroes. And Spaghetti went to re-engage, but they were just so far ahead it didn't matter.
Well, unfortunately, Aegis does go to the side. Unfortunately, if you are on the side of Spaghetti, goes to Tengen. Will be picked up, of course, by that Meepo. Oh, never mind. It is not picked up by Meepo. It is picked up by Doom. They want to blink Doom in there, and they want to guarantee that Doom gets off every single fight. Well, not every single fight, but obviously this next fight. You know, maybe there could have been an attempt at an Aegis steal there, but yeah, I think you definitely hit all the thoughts. Nails on the head. However you want to say that, whatever adage you want to use. But right now, for Spaghetti, they're just feeling all the control in the world. And you know, honestly, in this situation as a player, Roche, yeah, great. Doom's going to survive an extra life. But they have an Rax to deal with 23 minutes into the game. And it's not like our lineup's going to get weaker the later it goes. In fact, Shadow Fiend is one of my favorite heroes to deal with Meepo. Because Shadow Fiend's presence of the Dark Lord makes it easier to focus a single Meepo, which is honestly the key to killing Meepo. And you can't guarantee spells can focus one hero because, like, Mystic Flayer has an AoE that you can't control, but right clicks or go to whoever you right click. So I definitely think it's worth noting that there is a lot of single target damage coming out. And actually, they do get the arrow follow up after the concussive shot onto Ryunoob. He does fall in the jungle. And with that pick, this might be the key for them to go high ground. And actually the entire Dire side says, look, Shadow Fiend is out on his own, but he's not that far away from his teammates in the middle lane. 4 heroes up on the top of the side shop, setting up maybe for a potential wraparound, but the smart decision being made by Spaghetti. At first they took this bottom Rax, and instead of applying similarly linked pressures, i.e. you can just bounce between these two lanes, they're going to switch to top lane and apply as much pincer pressure as possible. So it's harder for Tengen to react to both lanes. The good news out of all this, though, is Lycus is, of course, pushing that bottom lane. Does have a TP so he can get back. But they're just going to go for high ground and a great, you know, trade. Fine, take our T2s, but we still have them up. So we're just going to trade them for high ground as we do see the Macro Pyre as well as the Ice Path, but it's not that high of a level. So the creeps should just kind of tank it. They could choose to use mech if they wanted to here. Squee is going to go forward, throws out the Meteor as well as the Cold Snap on to Viper. But now Doom blinks forward, misses the Hoof Stomp. Concussive Shot hits him as well, but Mystic Flayer is thrown out and slightly off the target again. Lycus with his other Meepos is going to force Witch Doctor to return back and defend, and this might be the turning point for Tengen as one hero is bottom for Spaghetti, but Shadow Fiend winding up the ulti is going to wipe the Doom. That's the Aegis. It's already gone, and now he's diving after Squee. Squee taking 2 right clicks is going to fall. Question is Doom going to live? It doesn't look like it, as he hasn't even used his Doom yet anyways, and 3 heroes are down. Buyback from Doom as Shadow Fiend in the background is getting shackled up, but he's doing so much damage that Lycus will fall anyways. Buyback from Invoker to follow up the Doom's buyback as they try to defend this high ground. Lycus as well. But Princess, aka Spaghetti, going to be saying to themselves, we forced 3 buybacks. So let's back up. Let's heal up. Let's go for another high ground push in the next 3 minutes when they don't have those buybacks. They don't have that Aegis.
Yeah, Team Spaghetti is just showing that they're here to win this game. They're here. They're here not just to win
Oh,
this game.
Meepo actually picks off Mirana. Did not see that, unfortunately. Double click on Mirana's death spot. She was hiding around in the jungle a little bit too long. Didn't have BKB off of cooldown, so was not able to survive that. But
yeah, she walked right into the Meepo net, and that was it. Meepo net into poof, and well, you're dead. But yeah, this Spaghetti team is showing that they're here to win this tournament, and they've been playing really, really well. Definitely outplaying Tengen all game long. Another thing to note, we saw Meepo last game, and last game the team with the Meepo lost racks in 23 minutes. This game, it's the same story. Yes, Meepo can start clawing his way back into this game by farming different places on the map, but it didn't. They weren't able to claw themselves completely back into the game last game. This game, it's looking to be about the same. I think Lycus is doing a good job trying to get his team back in this game, trying to farm and get back in, but he definitely isn't climbing up the net worth charts as fast as he was, or as the Meepo was last game. But yeah, I think this might be a little too far gone, as he's in a lot of trouble here with the smoke gank.
yep, Lycus does blink into the woods. Might actually be able to get away. Great reaction time there, seeing the smoke blown and immediately getting into those trees so he can blink away. And this game is starting to get really tense for Tengen here, as they are so close. They can smell it, they can feel it, they are right there. They just need to come back in this game and they can win $100. Whereas Spaghetti, they're feeling confident, they're feeling strong, they've got this game in the bag. And they just want to close it out. I mean, you could easily say that what I just said applies to them too, because they could be smelling the victory even more so right now than Tengen. As 4 heroes, 4 Tengen are grouped up onto the high ground. Shadow Fiend is right next to them. They might try to initiate on this, but if they do, it will be a full-fledged team fight and will decide the entirety of this game. And it looks like that's what's going to happen here. Forge Spirits are thrown down as they're getting prepped to do this. Prepped to go. This is going to be it, guys. The $100 for sex is going to be decided right now by that arrow and Taku with that absolutely insane play. And then the Shadow Fiend ulti is going to hit 4 different heroes, and then he's going to immediately turn on to Squee. In the background, we see Doomfall as well, and now Ryunoob taking a ton of damage. Will get focused down to Narla, trying to TP out, will die, and now Lycus is going to get chased down, and there's just no chance that he gets out of this, and this is a full... Oh, never mind. He does get away just for a second, but that is a full team wipe, and GG, well played. Spaghetti, absolutely dominating performance in this finals, able to clean it out.
Yeah, that was, I think actually the Forge Spirit from Swede just barely crested the top of the ramp there, and that's how Taku knew to throw the arrow. But yeah, they were forming, kind of setting up that gank, and unfortunately it didn't go the way that they were hoping, and that was kind of the end of the game. But they needed to do something. They needed something big to happen, and they took a shot there, and it didn't work out for them. But congratulations to Team Spaghetti. They played really great in the 2 games that we watched, and all the teams that we saw tonight, they played really well, and that's good to see.
Most definitely. Well, Niz, that pretty much sums it up for us this tournament. I assume you don't. Do you have any last thoughts you want to get out before I do the plugs and everything, and everyone can get on with their night?
Not about the game, not about the tournament. Obviously, thank you everyone for watching, and if you want to see more of our casts, be sure to hit the follow button below, and yeah, I'm sure RaptorZ will do all his normal plugs. But anyways, thanks for watching. Yeah,
definitely got to echo that, guys. I appreciate it so much, all of you guys who stick through to the end. Of course, if you enjoyed this cast, you can always follow this channel. You're at it if you're sitting here, if you're watching, if you're in Dota TV, it's Twitch TV/DotaRaptors. All of our casts will be live there. All of the VODs are uploaded to my YouTube at youtube.com/user/DotaRaptors or just /DotaRaptors. And you can check out my Twitter, where I try to update you guys as much as possible about this, at DotaRaptorsNiz. Of course, if you enjoy him, like him, want to listen to him, follow him, enjoy aspects of his life, you can check out his social media aspects, Twitch TV/Nizcast, Twitter at Nizcast, and of course his YouTube is /Nizcast as well. But that does it for us this edition of the Sunday Evening Cup Series, or Sunday Semi-Pro Cup Series. The $100, of course, goes to Team Spaghetti, and congratulations to them. If you guys want to get more of our action, you can always watch the VODs again. But please get in contact with us if you have any thoughts, suggestions, or ideas about what we could do better. games we could cast, stuff like that. We appreciate it. We do it for you guys, so everything you guys can tell us helps us so much more. But that literally does it for us. We will see you guys next Thursday as far as our live cast goes, and me and Niz will be working hard to figure out the Jordan Dota League casting so we can do that for you guys as well. And that pretty much sums it up for all of my thoughts. And in Niz, I assume that you got everything out, and that basically does it for us, guys. So thank you so much. Please check out my stuff, and if you check out my stuff, there's no reason to not check out Niz's. So yeah, before I start rambling on nonsensically, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. I will be cutting these videos and putting them up into VODs tomorrow, and you guys can watch them throughout the rest of the week. So good night, and thank you for sticking through all the way. Really appreciate it, guys.